All right, happy Friday, VV Nation. Woo! It feels good to be here on a Friday, that's for sure. Doesn't feel too good to be the market, right? All right, we'll get to all the market stuff here in just a moment. The alert should be hitting here in just a few minutes. I did do the strategy of the week this week. That'll be coming out on the YouTube channel here in just a few. Heads up, it is on safe and sound stocks. And when I was running the search, I mean, a lot of phenomenal stock candidates coming in the list. If you're not familiar with safe and sound stocks, definitely check out tonight's presentation. Put another VectorVest tool in your tool belt when it comes to investing. All right, George Jones said, oh, we got a new YouTube subscriber here. George Jones, well, welcome to VV Nation. Greg, hey, how are you doing today? We got Carol in the house. Augusta, Georgia. I bet it is beautiful in Augusta, Georgia right now. The leaves are changing colors here just outside of Charlotte, so I imagine Augusta's absolutely gorgeous. Probably a very popular time for golfing this time of year, if I had to guess. I've only been there once, and that's been a long time. A long time. Alfreda in the house. All righty. Does it look like the alert hit? Clay, do you know if the alert hit yet? Let's see here. Jersey guy, what a beautiful day. Everything is going on sale. Yes, it is, Jersey. I'm getting excited. You know what I did today? I did a little quick day trade, build up my capital for my bottom fishing. I did it this time not on the queue, so you know what's the other likely suspect for me for options day trading? AMD, right? So I bought a put on AMD. Man, I wish I had more time to have watched that put. I bought them about $1.15. I had 5 contracts. I put about just over $500 into it. Unloaded some. I think it was around 173 on 3 contracts. Unloaded 2 others, but made a couple $100. And for these profits this week, I am looking at a couple stocks in particular. Data Vault. I don't know if you guys saw Data Vault pre-market around 115, 116. It shot up. Last time I was looking around on 150. I kind of wish I would at least tiptoed in a couple of those shares. Anything sub 120. I was looking around 120 and it got right below it, but it shot right back up too. All right. Alfredo says poor. What was that, Clay? Oh, the alert just hit? Perfect. All right, we'll give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room here. It's only been 2 minutes into it. We can see right now, look at the major indices, right? Not only did they gap down, but from a day trading and just a swing trading perspective, the bulls didn't even try to fill the gap on most of these. And I mean, we're into lunch session now, so unless we get a strong rally, we're not filling any gaps here. You see the Dow Jones down close to 400 points, the NASDAQ close to 500 points, 2% here, leading the charge to the downside. VectorVest Composite also feeling the pain today, down 0.82%. Let's see, what do you think XRP is going to go up by the end of the year? Jackie, I am not an XRP expert by any means. I don't really trade it. Look at the chart, though. Make sure it makes sense. What searches / charts do you suggest for finding good put options? If you have a unit search, I mean, really anything like Burns Vultures, if you go into the searches short folder, that'll point you in the right direction for sure. See here, MD says Sound AI stock. Yeah, I like SoundHound AI. Take a look at that one. SoundHound AI was mentioned in last night's video. VectorVest top 10 growth stocks under $10 against Chat GPTs. Who enjoyed that presentation? I thought it was a little bit different. I think maybe we can do something like that in the future. But along the way, I mean, clearly just going through the stock charts, I'm on Team VectorVest. The stock charts, the growth rate, earnings, everything seemed much better than the ones, from Chat GPT. But either way, 20 stocks. And I was looking at some of those stocks here. Some of them I actually added. I have to go look at my VectorVest 7. I can't look at it while I'm in the mobile app. But I want to say it was like 4 or 5 stocks to my watch list. As I look at some bottom fishing, buying the dip opportunities here in the near future. Greg says different video, but good. It was interesting. I watched it. I just thought some good fish along the way. Now's a good time to, do some fishing. Get your shopping list ready. If you're buying the dip right now, if you bought today, if you bought yesterday, just know that was very aggressive, right? Trust me, when I didn't buy UAM1, my call option yesterday off the pivot did not fill. Today I'd have to look at it because it opened up in the 6s, but then it shot up back into the 7s. So that order from yesterday was automatically canceled. I didn't refill it today. I just did the quick AMD trade for a little bit of profits. Reinforced VV Nation focus. It was a good YouTube last night. Agreed. Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. And I saw your comment about being politically correct on the big, beautiful bill. Technically, the bill doesn't have a name, but, at least in this essence, you'll know what I'm talking about. Wasn't to be political one way or the other, Bill. John says, how do I access this video through VectorVest? You're talking about this live stream? All of this, or the video last night you might be speaking of, John, it's all on the YouTube channel. You just go to YouTube, just type in VectorVest. You'll see our logo there right at the top. Click on the logo, and it'll bring you all, anything like as far as like strategy of the week videos is a good source. All kinds of videos they put on here. I'm trying to think if there's a direct link from VectorVest 7 to the YouTube channel. There might be under the training tab, but honestly, it's just probably easier just go to your web browser and just go to YouTube that way. Oh, Clay, he's on top of things. I got Clay in the background. It's Friday here. Joey down in Charleston enjoying the barbecue festival. I mean, look, when I go on vacation, market gets poopy. When Joey goes on vacation, we need to stop taking vacation. That's what Amir said. Was it yesterday? Amir said, stop taking vacations. Time to buy is when VIX is so high, I guess. I'm not going to disagree with that, Ali G, but sometimes we want to make sure the bleeding has stopped, right? And in any bottom fishing video, if you just jump in just because MTI is getting closer to 0.6, and actually let's scroll down. Let's see where it's at right now. 0.76. That is why I'm saying get the shopping list ready. Yes, you can stress yourself out and you might work out, but yeah, if you start buying now, I have not. Just make sure the trades make sense. Make sure at least they're hitting, critical levels of support, things in the chart that make sense that says, hey, I should have buy this stock before the VectorVest indicators are telling me it's a good time to start bottom fishing. Ryan, 15% up VIX today. Yes, I saw that. I was actually a new VIX since yesterday. I think I might still be in it. In my contest portfolio, trying to catch up with Alex. Alex did phenomenal this year in the contest portfolio. I think it's over 400%. I obviously had to get aggressive and speculative, try to catch up to him. I got into 370. Made a mistake. Now I'm back down to 200% in the positive. Still a good portfolio, but again, just trying to catch up with him. I think we have about a month left before the employee contest is over, but I'm still in second place for the year. So, hey, I'm not Ricky Bobby. If he ain't first, you're last, right? But still got a good percentage gain for the year. Still got good percentage wins of trades. Now, just looking at the software here, red light, red lights, red lights. Why go out there and cause yourself the headache and start buying stocks? I've been talking about it. Protect those profits, especially if you're a swing trader and you're really just capturing the last bottom fishing opportunity, right? Which is, or was, I should say, the tariff situation back in April, right? So if you're a swing trader, yes, when that MTI was high, that was the time to start protecting those profits, right? We've seen it trend lower and lower, especially by Halloween. When it made that new low, at one point, was 0.2 compared to the prior swing low at one point. That's when I was really, now's not the time. I've said it. Trust me, I want to enter the market just as much as you, but I'm going to have patience. Let the market come to me, right? Because if you're jumping in now, you're probably adding a lot of stress to yourself before the weekend, right? Because who knows if this, pullback is over right now, right? And we just got a fresh confirmed down signal as of yesterday with follow through on that coming today. Ryan, will VectorVest have Black Friday specials? Thanks. Richard, great question. And I will say, I almost wish that special was a little earlier. Maybe I could talk to Mark and see if we could push it a little earlier. And the reason why I say that, now is the time to learn things. Now is the time to learn things, right? Learn more tools, whether it's technical analysis, more familiar with the proprietary indicators, maybe learning more about Unisearch, right? To do the bottom fishing. This is an overreaction to nothing and Michael Shorts. Well, if you saw my video, the market, it was a general market analysis video, not last night, but the night before. If you look at things like the QQQ, the VectorVest Composite, the SPX, things like that over the last month, they've gone nowhere. They're pretty much where they were. Some of them might even be lower than they were a month ago. I think the VectorVest Composite was. It's harder to be a bull, right? Now, am I saying the market's going to crash and all that Michael Burry, AI bubble stuff? No, I'm just seeing a healthy pullback, right? And that MTI is telling me, hey, it's maybe just a tad too early to start pulling the trigger on stocks, right? Especially if you're more conservative or prudent nature. If you're aggressive, if you're a trader, if you're at your computer all day and you can manage these positions, hey, as long as you are okay with the risk and as long as the stock chart makes sense. But MTI is telling me that some of these stocks that we're looking at, we can probably get even better deals in the future, right? Because think about it, that MTI gets down to 0.6, say next week, right? Well, what's the week after? We got NVIDIA's earnings, right? And hopefully, if the government can get along, we can get the government opening before the holidays. Great catalyst for a blast off with the MTI getting so close to 0.6. That's why I'm getting excited. That's why I'm saying have a little bit of patience. Let the market come to you, right? All right, let's get, and you can see the follow through from today. Just look at the decline, 60%, right? So if you did a bottom, if you're one of those buy the dippers yesterday, well, there's a 60% chance that dip ain't working out for you yesterday, right? That's continuing to dip, right? Why is the MTI at a 0.6 a significant level? Peter, that is a fantastic question. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to go into all the details, but YouTube, just go to YouTube, type in VectorVest MTI, VectorVest bottom fishing. You're going to thank me later because that's the exact scenario we're getting into right now, the exact scenario. And the reason why that is a significant level, Peter, is just because historically, this is a level that I came about and made up. But historically, looking at MTI, it lets us know that the market likes to look for a bottom around 0.6, right? Likes to get top heavy around 1.5 to 1.6. It's not exact, but typically around those, what would you call those? Around those figures, around those numbers, that's when you start to see those market bottoms and those market highs come into place. Are these two separate videos, one to learn MTI and one for bottom fishing? They're going to be very similar, and they're probably going to bring up some of the same videos, whether it's MTI, whether it says bottom fishing. Watch the videos because the concepts are going to be very, very similar, but definitely aim for a bottom fishing one. If you can find one, I know we have one just about the MTI. I know we have one, or actually quite a few on bottom fishing, but watch them more. One saying I have in life is what you put in life is what you're going to get out of life, right? So what you put into learning about bottom fishing, utilizing these BSR indicators, these MTI indicators. Yeah, you could spend today chasing some dips, we'll see how it works over the weekend. Or you can watch these videos and really see what could potentially unfold before the holidays. And we all know about a Santa rally, right? It doesn't happen every year, but just things I'm seeing are hopefully going to put us in that type of situation. Can this be a longer pullback, lasting months? It can obviously turn into a longer pullback, but we would need catalysts for that. Earnings, still looking pretty good though, right? I know the jobs, economic reports, not looking the best this week. That's where we're seeing some of that weakness. Also some commentary from some other figures out there, I guess you could say, in the investment world, whether it's Michael Burry or Jensen Huang and his comments on Chinese AI, stuff like that. So there's just things out there that are just suppressing the market, but just healthy right now. I mean, can the market last? Can this pullback last much longer? Yes, it can. Right? That's why you got stops. That's why you stay disciplined. Fox says, I see a Santa rally coming when the government reopens and if the Supreme Court rules Trump's tariffs illegal. The government, yes. The tariffs, that could go one way or the other. I'm not going to talk about that. But as far as the government reopening, yeah, that could definitely bring some enthusiasm into the market. But I see that government reopening. It's crazy that the MTI is getting closer and closer to 0.6. So yeah, if MTI gets down to 0.6 next week, government reopens, we got Nvidia's earnings the following week, we might see a blast off day, right? We're not seeing it yet, but the advantage having the VectorVest subscription, we're going to know a blast off day, right? We're going to see some green lights here. And honestly, coming off November 5th, which would have been Wednesday. So by next Tuesday, next Wednesday, if there's some momentum to the upside in the market, we could get green lights there. The BSR would have to get back above 1. But looking at the BSR right now at 0.3, again, if you go back to our bottom fishing videos, things of that nature, the BSR likes to get around 0.2 for when the market is looking for a bottom. So the MTI at 0.76 and the BSR at 0.3, we are so close, but still think there could be some downside potential there, right? All right, so that's enough of that. There's going to be one thing, because there was a lot of chatter about it yesterday. We're just going to jump right into the conversation. UAMY. We're going to get to some other stocks in just a moment. This is the pivot I talked about. I think some of you might have taken that trade. Perfect pivot follow through. Was it 770 now? Yeah. Well, I did good on my AMD trade today, so I can't complain. I can't complain at all. But this would have also been a good trade. And if you did take the trade, it's coming to a nice fruition. I was looking for resistance or a nice target if you're a short-term swing trader, maybe closer to $9. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Government will open. China-India deals both coming within 2 weeks. Oh, we'll see what the deals are. But China's deal really got kicked down the curve another year, right? They get the chips and a couple other things, some soybeans. We get the rare earths was pretty much the deal with that. But you could see UAMY, the transition. I'm treating this more of like a swing trade right now rather than such as an investment. I don't know if anyone saw, but was it Applied Materials, MP? They, the CEO pretty much said, for any investors entering rare earths, be careful. Valuation concerns. The CEO came out and said that, and I'll say that too as well, right? UAMY, I like that pivot around 650. If you scooped it up yesterday, the day before 650, or even this morning, I think it was around there. That was awesome. That was awesome. All right. One other stock I just want to take a look at real quick that we talk about. AMD. AMD, I see feeling the pressure there. AMD's got a big gap to fill. Oh, it's back at 227. This is one I made. I did some day trading on this on a put. You see, I was looking for a bottom here. Came in. Where was the low at? Around 224. Woo. Wish I would have held on those puts a little bit longer, but that. You can see it's basing out right now, trying to find a bottom. We'll see. UAMY, UN. I was going to buy the call yesterday. And then buy the, I had the order, but it didn't fill. Kind of wish it filled. Today I'm not in it. I did a quick AMD option trade. So I was hoping to get it next week. I want to buy 100 shares of it. If I can get it closer to $6. Right now, as far as UAMY, I'm thinking this is, again, just a pivot off of that trend line that we've been looking at UAMY. You can see right out of the gate, 660 jumped up to $8.10. So it really wasn't that far from my target from that swing trade. So again, my target's gonna be closer to $9. So if you start to see rejection, if it fails to take out this prior high, let's see what that high is coming in around, probably 808. 810 on the dot. If it fails to beat that, just be careful. You could use Star Search or a channel to track the price. Yes, you could. Yeah, Star Search would work good with UAMY, especially capturing existing profit. I would say even rare earths. If you get into a rare earth and you're thinking, hey, more of an investment, which I know that was even my mindset. at the beginning of this year, but I didn't realize, everyone else is going to try to pour into these stocks, right? But if you find some of these stocks going, find some of these longer term investments turning into parabolic moves, hey, you didn't have to wait 2 or 3 years for the stock to double or triple, right? It did it in less than a year. Protect those profits. Why would, I don't get why. Yeah, I didn't have to wait 2 or 3 years. I'm going to protect them now. I'm just going to watch it go up and then just come right back down. So in these parabolic moves, protect yourself using something like Star Search, even if you're not familiar or that confident as a swing trader and your stock kind of turns into one, with one of these, just using rare earths as an example here, you can switch to something like a Star Search or maybe like a trailing stop, something of that nature, help, ratchet in profits along the way. All right. Now let's see here. Let's go to stock pick ideas. Let's see what kind of fish we can try to put in our list today. Let's, looking at some safe stocks to buy, probably not a bad idea. We got AMD in the list here, Fabrinet, Google, VIX, TSM, ASML, Amphenol. Actually, phenomenal stocks here. Look at this, Kinross Gold. Let's take a look at some of these. I troubled a small amount with Data Vault in 2 weeks. Nice. Yeah, when I did the Data Vault video, it was like $1.80, $2, jumped over 4. If you made money on that swing trade, hey, I like it. Data Vault, we'll see what happens from the short seller report here. Still like the company, I like what they're about. But that one is on my list. I was looking at $1.20 and actually it did that this morning. I know someone said $1.30. I think it was on the live stream yesterday. I wish I would have scooped it up, but can only buy so much. And today's trade worked out well. Liking Amphenol. Yes, Amphenol is good. AMD just got a gap fill there. So be careful. If it pulls back anymore, just be careful. I don't know where you bought it at. But you can see it clearly broke that 20-day. We're seeing indecision in it right now. Here's Fabrinet, currently trading at $4.39. With the recent move, you can see the stock now overvalued. The stock valued at $3.48. Let's see what the forecasted data is here. 22% on the sales side. Earnings growth rate 16%. Not bad forecasted data. And even with the gap down, still buy rating. Still a buy rating intact here. Moving average is still in the favor. Still, we're losing a little bit of momentum. You see that in the 3 and 8, but still well above the 20. If you feel like you missed out on this and the stock has your interest, maybe get closer to that 20. But you can see this zone here between this prior, range-bound motion back in September and early October. This is where I would see a really strong level support at, which you can already see you had one touch here, one little pivot from a bottom wick. Google, look at this, 277. This is one of my Mag 7 picks of the year here. Just because of the valuation perspective. Actually, I'm trying to add value. There we go. Look at value. There it is. That's exactly what I want to see. I mean, it's such an undervalued stock. The stock went from $160 to now almost $300. It's at $277 right now. The value is locked in, rising earnings, lower left, upper right. Even with the market pulling back, this stock just continues to march higher. I mean, with these valuations with Google, I can see why investors have been taking the stock. That is nice. Google once again rising to meet our valuation. Here's Comfort Systems. Hey, value's rising, price is rising, nice steady Eddie stock. We do have a big gap to fill here. If we get closer to the bottom of this gap, we end up filling it probably around 815. It's going to be around the bottom of that gap. You can look for a level support there. Right now it's at 928. So still a lot more room to go down potentially when it comes to this gap fill. But the valuation's still climbing up. I like the stock all over. Iron. We see a lot of people talking about iron. We can talk about iron. TSM, I see it rolling over. Look at the channel. It wasn't an ascending channel. The channel moved to the side, just broke to the downside of that channel. Be careful, these semiconductors. They can be very volatile in nature. If I just look at a 5-year chart here, This stock went from a high of 130 to a low of 61. And here's another large pullback from around 230 to about 120. ASML also rolling over. Huge jump on ASML. This is a lithography company still holding its buy rating. Strong earnings per share. Lam Research is another one. A little stretched on the valuation. Quanta, no. This is nice. This is Amphenol APH. I've talked about the stock before. Very range bound, very tight, very little volatility. Just nice steady eddy, lower left, upper right. Value climbing with it. I see it's overvalued, but with the valuation rising too, I can get more confident with this. And earnings per share, nice. Sterling, same situation here. Could be a good pullback, still having its buy rating. Advantis Corp, a little gappy for me. You can see we got a big gap, filling that gap now. Coming in at level support around 120. Look for the pivot around 120. We got about $5 to go there. Kinross Gold. If it can stay above this level of support here, right now it was at a level of resistance. But look at that value, still rising over $40. Earnings per share, well done. Here's Berkeley. This stock's just moving to the side. Not too excited about that one. Celestica. Look at this retest on the 20. Parabolic move, came right back down to retest the 20. I see the bottom wick shaping up on that right now. Here's Carpenter Technologies. These are good stocks here. All right, let's take a look at iron, since a lot of people are asking about it here. Yep, that's a failed breakout. It tried to break out. You can see the big body candlestick, clear resistance. You see the channel it's forming here, around $59 to about $78 here. If it takes this prior swing low, or honestly what I would do if you're holding iron right now, I don't know what your goals are, but if I'm trying to capture some profits closer to the top, I would draw a trend line. The bottom of this wick, this swing low, and today's low. That's going to be my stop to help lock in some profits. Maybe just take some off the table. I don't know how many shares you have, but I would do a trend line. Keep it easy because we were right on this 20-day, but I would do a trend line right on this bottom wick here and this low on today's low. That might help keep you in the right side of the trade there. Because again, this is AI, this is crypto. This could easily get whacked. We've seen some of these other ones get whacked. Some of these other AI stocks and even quantum, some of those are all over the place right now. So just be careful, but I do like that trend line on those two lows as kind of as a reference point there to lock in profits. Let's see here. Let's go back to stock pick ideas. Look at petroleum coming in here. I haven't seen petroleum as a hot industry in a while. Let's see what you're doing. Ryan, does VectorVest ever add new fields? It would be so nice to see current earnings instead of 12-month forecasted earnings. Oh, that as far as that field. I guess the reason what I've been told, I don't know if that's necessarily the only reason, but because every broker, you can even just Google earnings per share, everyone provides it. There's not a real benefit if we just provide it as well. That's why we do the leading 12-month forecast. Does that make sense, William? To give you kind of an insight or a glimpse into, potentially the future earnings of that company. We get that data, straight from the NASDAQ exchange themselves. But yeah, I've been asked that before when I worked, on the phones, why does your EPS not match up with my broker? Or, why don't you just have regular earnings per share? Because that's it. Your broker already provides that information. So we want to provide, additional information. It would be nice to integrate it into the charts, etc. Let me see what we can do because I know we're rolling out the new VectorVest platform. We'll see, but I don't even know we don't even have current earnings in the software. I know we'd have that data, but that's something I have to ask for the data to see exactly why that's the case. All right, take a look at these petroleum companies, though. I don't see not one really VST or stock that's sticking out to me. Let's see if anything on, say, a 6. Ooh, there we go. Look, we're starting to see that turnaround. Maybe Petroleum might. Look at that, from 17 to 28. Strong buys. Falling earnings, though. Value's rising with it. Price and value are rising. Let's do a year. See, a lot of these struggled, but now they're starting to come back. And look at the value even starting to come back. Now, it would obviously be nice to see price action of all these stocks come back, but seeing value, so seeing these petroleum companies, even turn around on a valuation perspective, I can get behind that. This might not be bad looking at some of these petroleum stocks here, especially if you're overloaded on tech, overloaded on the AI. I know a lot of us are holding a lot of tech. I haven't been too bullish on petroleum, but just looking at these stocks and in this industry in particular, I could see the transition here, sales to holds and now buys to holds, right? We see the stock going up. You want confirmation? Clear level of resistance to break. Look for the breakout there. That's on board drilling. Cheap stock too. $3. We value it right around where it's trading. Here's Energy Solutions. Here's a cheaper stock. Look at 450 to 720. Value rising. Hey, I know no one's talking about petroleum. Trust me, I'm not talking about petroleum as well. Just notice that the Qs are right on the 50-day. That's where they stopped on the last pullback. I'm not too. I'd have to look at the Qs and see what other moving averages are utilizing. But yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we're seeing not only the Qs, major indices, but also a lot of stocks getting close, or some of them may have already bounced off some resistance or some support, like we saw with UAMY. Because with that MTI getting so low, now we're at 0.7. Again, we're so close to 0.6. A lot of these stocks might start showing, bottom fishing opportunities from a very aggressive standpoint, right? So if the Qs are right at a 50-day, I'm not going to be too surprised by that, right? We'll see if the damage is done. But as of right now, it doesn't look like it is. But petroleum, that one's not pretty. Here's another one. These aren't bad. Look at price charts here. This one, not bad. Now that's the petroleum I know. Here we go. Valaris. A lot of these not looking too bad, though. Let's see what other spaces are in here. These were the stock pick ideas. Let's go to featured screens. Oh, let's see what the bearish ETFs are saying. Look at MicroStrategy's bearish ETF. Interesting. Went from $3 closer to $10 just in the last 6 months. Showing buy rating. Nice. You see the gap up. Giving that up. So that's showing me that MicroStrategy gap down, but starting to make its way up, filling the gap there. Here is Bitcoin, ultra short. Look for a breakout. And I know Bitcoin is right on the BTC ETF at least, was right around that 200-day moving average. So if it breaks that, we could get a breakout here as well. Shorting Bitcoin. Have been shorting MicroStrategy for 1 month now. Made a lot of moolah on shorting micro. I don't like MicroStrategy. You know me, I'm in pretty pro Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and some of the other cryptos. I don't like the chart. Bitcoin's already aggressive enough. I don't need to make it any more aggressive. If you do, you just trade options on it, or leverage it with the ETF. But it doesn't have a good correlation with Bitcoin, at least on the chart. Here's another one, reverse Bitcoin. This could break out. You're looking around 350. Right now it's 332. Again, right on the cusp. Look at the Bitcoin charts, or the BTC chart. See if it's what it's doing around that 200-day. What is this? Semiconductor top 5 bearish, 2 times leverage. What? What are the holdings of this? Oh, I'm going to Google this. I've never even heard of this ETF, but this could be like a good bearish ETF to play here. TSXD Holdings. TSXD. Yeah, top 5 bearish ETF. What are the holdings though? Style. Anybody know the holdings of this? I'm trying to find it now because this could be a really good bearish ETF. Didn't say the holdings. Well, if you got a moment, you can put the holdings in there. I don't know why it's. There we go. Let's see, this one's got it here. Well, Market Watch, you failed me. There's no, I think the website might be down. It says data not available. Anybody know what it's holding? Let's see here. Well, I thought that would be easier to find, but it's not showing me what it's holding. All right. Either way, so if you want to short the semiconductors, or if the Q starts selling off, this might not be a bad one. Let's take a look at 1 year chart. Oh, this has only been out less than a month here. D-Wave Quantum, buy or sell. We could take a look at some Quantum. Made a lot of moolah. They don't mention. Sounds like TSXD is bearish for top 5 semiconductors. Yes. No, it is. I was just trying to figure out what, what semiconductors and per se it's shorting. When it says the top 5. Is it shorting like AMD, Broadcom, and NVIDIA? To get a better sense of that chart. But this might be, and if you look at this, this has only been out really less than a month here. This could break out. This is showing me some weakness. So either we could find a nice level of support here for the semiconductors, because on this bearish one, we're hitting resistance here soon, right? TSM? Yeah. Oh.
ASML Holdings, Taiwan Semiconductors.
Oh. Clay's giving me the readings now. We got Taiwan Semi, ASM. Oh yeah, put them in the chat. Even if this could be good too. Like even if you're holding some AMD or an NVIDIA, which most of us probably holding some kind of semiconductor, right? Say you don't want to sell these because you're more of a longer term investor, but you see the market rolling over, you see some of these maybe hitting level resistance, whatever it may be. This is a good way to hedge your positions here. It's not bad. It's only $20 too. It's not too expensive.
Screenshots in our team chat.
Oh, let me pull up the team chat here. Clay, thank you for that. Clay found him here. Index top 10 holdings. So for that fund, it looks like it's mostly going to be shorting ASML, Taiwan Semi, NVIDIA, AMD, and Broadcom. It's a nice ETF here. This is a good one. I'd put this one on your tool belt for sure as far as hedging positions. And you can see the follow through today, right? You can see the follow through on this one today. Currently trading at sessions highs. If we look at the 1 day chart, see one from 1860. Look at the volume on this one clearly. This one's brand new, probably not have a lot of volume, but interesting concept here, just focusing on the major semiconductors. Here is BOED. This is Boeing, bearish one time. So you want to be bearish on Boeing here. This is Internet bear, Dow Jones Internet. Interesting. Look at this one start to pick up momentum here. Let's go to 3-month chart. Look at the consolidation, the channel there. Very range bound, tightening up. You can see the release of that pressure as of yesterday. Big bodied candlestick. We are seeing a little bit of an upper wick here at this resistance, so keep that in mind. But if we start to see some follow through here, this could be another bearish ETF to keep your eyes on. Here's micro sectors. This is travel, 3 times leverage. Seeing right at this level of resistance here. Let's take that as around $8.15 for confirmation. But the moving averages, I see that momentum picking up for the bulls. I guess, when it comes to this bearish ETF. I know that can get confusing. Here's another one. Nice lower left, upper right. Gap down today. Not seeing the follow through on that one. Here's real estate bear. Triple leverage. That's not doing anything. This one's much harder to play. Unless you're a very active swing trader with some experience, this one may not be for you. Here's financials. Look at the financials start to roll over. You can see confirmation in this rollover coming in the near future here, right at this level of resistance right now in that zone. This is where I'd like to see confirmation. Crude oil, look at crude oil making its way up. Went from about 15 bucks to about $18. Interesting. This one's not doing a whole lot. All right. Look at the short. This is 2 times leverage inverse NVIDIA. What? Went from $15 to about $18. Big move to the upside when it comes to this position as well. Oh, let me bring this back here. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Where else? What other kind of fish? Aggressive stocks. What kind of aggressive stocks we got? Western Digital, Evoke, SanDisk, iHeartMedia. Interesting. 2 times leverage Micron. Okay. Best stocks below 20 bucks. Let's see if we get some deals here. All right, Hecla Mining coming at $13. Feeling the pressure. Ooh, I don't like that upper wick yesterday, but look at that value ticking up. Don't forget about gold on the buying this dip here. We see gold stocks been taking a breather as well. Here's a pharmaceutical. This is a steady Eddie, lower left, upper right. Look at the valuation for a pharmaceutical company to be valued over $24 and just trading under 15. Rising forecasted earnings per share. That's just phenomenal. And you just got the breakout from this prior resistance here. Here's NGL Energy Partners. Momentum picking up. We've got 4 big-bodied candlesticks over recent sessions here. Earnings per share also ticking up. But what I like to see, even though the stock went from $3 to now over $9, the valuation went from $6 to over $10. So even after the big move to the upside, the stock is still undervalued. Beautiful position. There's another great gold stock here. I Am Gold, rising earnings per share. I like this pivot off this consolidation zone here. Maybe get the price action back above the 20. Just get a little bit better sense for the bulls here. Evoke, it hasn't moved since it's gapped up, so I'm not gonna guess on that one. Here's iHeartMedia. What I will say about this one, the stock, they had me concerned for quite a bit. But look at the valuation now. Valuation now over $250. This stock was a penny stock not too long ago. The valuation is rock and rolling. This is one I would not sleep on. Definitely be more comfortable with momentum. Utilizing something like Star Search, not a bad way to go with that position. Now here's K-Knot Offshore Partners, another good fish to be putting on your shopping list. Undervalued stock, but not very expensive either. $10. We valued over 14. Moving averages. It just did a gap up. I see the consolidation over the last few candlesticks. Let's look for a breakout from this consolidation and get a sense of direction before pulling the trigger. Now here's New Gold. Look at that. Values rising, prices rising, earnings per share is rising. I see a healthy breather here when it comes to gold. I mean, gold was rocketing. So yeah, healthy breathers indeed. So if you're bottom fishing on gold, I don't blame you there as well. Evoke is a buyout. Oh, okay, Lee. That's what it is. Gotcha. Never mind then. All right. So we got value rising here. Price, again, just taking a breather. Another gold company taking a breather. I like what I see here at this position. Another gold company undervalued. You see the gold stocks just over the last month or so, just taking a little bit of a breather. Harmony Gold, this is a stock I can't get that excited about. He's even on the 1-year chart. You know, it picked up the momentum, but really since May, the momentum has not been there for this position here. So just be careful of this one. But valuation, I like it from a fundamental standpoint, just price action in its own way. Here's ORGO. Look at that gap up. I see the upper wick forming. Stock now overvalued. You had some value opportunities there, but not now. Here's Viav Solutions. I mean, that's nice stair-step fashion of stock price. Very little volatility. I see the jump up today, or sorry, last week. That gap up, yeah, if you don't want to chase it, can't necessarily blame you. Maybe look for closer to a pullback to the 20. Ollie G says Data Vault going up on a down day. Yeah, Data Vault, it opened up right at a nice level of support. That's why I said 120 yesterday. Opened up around 116. But I could take some profits from my AMD trades. Hopefully buy some of these stocks. Here's Centrus Electrus. Brazilius. What I like here, look at the valuation. Was flat, now ticking up. Overextended, gap down. I'm not feeling that. Fastly, we got two big candlesticks in a row after earnings. And look at the earnings per share. Forecasted earnings per share just went positive for the first time over the last 6 months here. Might not be a bad one to keep on your radar. Wait for the dust to settle. Hey, if the stock does pull back, you can look for around $9. That's going to be the breakout level here. Here's Hudbay Minerals. Undervalued stock. I mean, nice steady Eddie rise. Earnings per share. Look at that tick up in earnings per share, going from about 80 cents now to over $1 in just the last few minutes. Big jump there. Here's Target 2 times leverage. I can see Target, this ETF, coming back here to the support level for a nice pivot. Just shy of $18. All right. Yeah, there's some good fish along the way there. All right, now I'm going to take your fish. Don't put them in the comment section yet. Don't put them in the comment section yet. Get your quick draw McGraw fingers ready. Let's see here. Watch list. We got to create a new one. All right. These stocks, we're looking for dips. We're looking for dips on these stocks. Give me a stock. I'm going to put a data vault. That'll be mine. First 10 stocks coming across the comment section are the 10 we are breaking down today. Hit that like button, by the way. I see those likes pretty weak today. Y'all need to step it up on a Friday. I know it's Friday. Doesn't mean you can't hit the like button, though. Rocket Lab. Yeah, they had earnings. Did they have earnings? MP Material. Nova. We don't got Nova. Tabular. Oh, you talking about Nova Nordisk? NVDA. Scroll down this comment section here. Netflix. I like Netflix. I wonder how that dip's working out. That why you asking about it? Looking for the dip on that one? I don't know about item. Tablet, IDR. Gotcha. All right. That's 10 plus -1. Hyperscale data, that's on my list, so I'll take that one. All right. NVO is toast. Yippee, Ryan likes Netflix. Ryan likes Netflix. All right, let's take a look at these here. Watch list, we'll do... Man, it's hard to believe the holidays are coming soon. Thanksgiving around the corner. I gotta go turkey shopping. It's hard to believe. It's already so soon. All right, no surprise. Look what stocks at the top of the list. NVIDIA, we've got UI number 2. Interesting. We'll take a look at this. It's more expensive stock, $620. It's cheaper today, though. It's 18% cheaper today, to be exact. I'm taking this is going to be an earnings thing. I think this is going to be earnings. UVIX is a good. I've day traded UVIX on the options before. UVIX, if you're trading anything VIX related, you gotta focus on the S&P because that's the instruments that derive from is on the S&P. So just keep that in mind. All right, NVIDIA looking real poopy right now. Where's this prior swing high? We're right at support, 180. We got 2 levels of support here. So if you're going to bottom fish on NVIDIA, if you're thinking about buying a couple shares on NVIDIA, might be worth the nibble. It might be worth the nibble. Just be careful because MTI is still not showing us that bottom fishing level. But the buy has already transitioned to a hold here. Undervalued, but yes. This prior swing low, and around 165, you see NVIDIA break 165 and take out this prior swing low. Definitely get more defensive on this position. But overall, just getting hit with the rest of the market here. That one not looking good. Look at that. Still doesn't even have a sell. Look at the valuation. Just way overvalued. Way overvalued. I can't get behind it. Rising earnings per share, but just so overvalued. I don't even see any real... I mean, yeah, probably this consolidation here, which you can see where it's catching. The 600s. If it breaks the 600 level, it could go to 500 pretty easily, looks like. Netflix, you can see the moving average is still not in our favor here. We got the gap down. So if you bottom fished, I said around 1,016, 1,000 bucks. I think that was going off some other level. Oh, yeah. Where is this one here? The high is around 162, so we're close. But yeah, I think Netflix closer to 1,000, probably the better, and that's playing off of this pivot here, this prior swing high. We'll see. I am shorting big on NVIDIA for 4 months now. We'll add more before November 19th. You get rich by shorting Palantir NVIDIA, not long. Ollie G, I'm gonna beg to differ. A lot of people have gotten real wealthy on Palantir and NVIDIA long. Just don't think just because it went from $200 now to 181, it's all over for NVIDIA. I don't see that being the case. But these are semiconductors, so they do fluctuate quite a bit. So if you just added semiconductors to your portfolio for the first time in the last year, 2 years, you'll see they fluctuate. They fluctuate. They have a lot of them have very steep max drawdowns, these semiconductors. So just if you're new, I'm just gonna throw that on your radar right now. If you bought NVIDIA at $100, I was screaming NVIDIA sub 100. I said that about AMD and NVIDIA, both of them sub 100 back in the tariff days. If you doubled your money, protecting some profits, not a bad idea. If you got more than 100 shares, you can always do a cover call or something. But in addition to that, I still like NVIDIA. Still like it. Still like AMD. I'm not going to be in the boat of shorting them. What about Micron? I still like Micron as well. But Netflix, what I do like about Netflix, well, I'm not rushing to buy Netflix because this value can make its way up just a little bit more closer to 1,000. And this price action can get around 1,000 here. I can get a fair deal on Netflix. I like Netflix overall. Netflix, I put it in like the hood category, Robin Hood, right? Industry disruptor. Think about it. We don't have cable these days because of Netflix, right? I don't pay a brokerage fee, unless maybe options, but I don't pay $10 to buy a stock or sell a stock anymore. Why? Because of Robin Hood, right? Industry disruptor. Here's another stock. Actually, let's look at this one. Exploitus Discovery. I don't like these candlesticks. Who gave me this? This is a penny stock. 5 cents. It's undervalued. I see value climbing, price climbing. Earnings per share moving in the right direction, but still a penny stock. Here's QXO. Way overvalued, but look at this. Finally undervalued, right? Look, I see this more often than not. You see price action just skyrocket from our valuation, right? The momentum is there. Hey, that's fine. Just got to manage it. But look, the trade, the momentum is over, and now it's right back to where our valuation is, right? So if you're more of an investor, yes, now is time to get excited. If you're a trader, the momentum is still to the downside right now. And I see actually a lot of support here, a lot of resistance. So this should be a strong level of support. 15 bucks. You know, if you bought in around 15, it might not be a bad pivot. Might not be a bad pivot at all. Here's Idaho Strategic coming right back to a level of resistance, but that momentum sell rating, fresh sell rating. But all I'm seeing is just, I got to see more confirmation come from this pivot here. I'm not really seeing a turn of direction. I'm seeing the bleeding stop, but I'm not seeing a turn of direction. Look at the stock, just way overvalued too. Way overvalued. Was that all of it? No, here's Ethereum. Ethereum should be right around its 200-day. Look at the 200-day moving average on Ethereum. But it broke my support level at that prior swing low. Not necessarily on ETHA, but just Ethereum in general. So I'm going to be bearish on Ethereum right now. I'm going to be bearish on Ethereum. Probably looking closer to 20 bucks on this ETF here if we do get more of a pullback. Clean energy. You can see the sell recommendation, but some value opportunities presenting themselves. The stock was greatly overvalued, getting closer to $3 or just over $3, really. Now it's at $2.30. We value the stock. Oh, $2.31. Okay. So, yeah, it was right on par with our valuation. Nice. MP Materials Corp here. So, one thing I do like, look at the earnings per share moving in the right direction. Look at value moving in the right direction. But look at the price. I mean, yeah, everyone thought they were a genius getting into rare earths. These stocks were so way overvalued. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's $100, right? You had a channel here. You broke the channel. There was your parabolic move. But by the second big red candlestick, hopefully you took some profits, especially once we broke through this channel again. But right now, I'm just seeing this literally. This is just a gap fill. This is probably short-term support off of this gap fill here. That's why you're seeing the bleeding stop. Just be careful with this one. Be careful. Be careful. As far as any kind of dip here, if this comes back down to sub 40, probably about 38 bucks, fill that gap off that pivot, that might just be a great stock trade if you got the patience and if the stock comes back down to that level. As well, I like the valuation finally starting to tick up, right? That valuation can just keep climbing. We'll get even more excited. Here is GPUS. This is 35 cents. You can see the value declining, price action declining over the last year here. I did have some trading opportunities here. Look at the channel it's in right now. The support. Looks like it's right at the bottom of this channel. We value the stock around 60 cents. So be careful of this. If it breaks much below 30 cents, I would get defensive because we would be breaking to the downside of that channel. All right, and then we got Rocket Lab here selling off quite a bit. Look at that. Ooh, way overvalued. I mean, it's a defense stock. It's a drone stock. So it got retail investors excited. Hey, I'm not saying that their technology is bad by any means, but we've only valued the stock at $4.65. The stock was close to 70. Now it just broke 50, right? I don't think the bleeding is quite done yet. And if it got down to about 34 bucks, that would not be a bad dip for me. I divorced Micron a while ago. In fact, all of the stocks on today's webinar has been. Huh? Yeah, be careful with this one. Let's see the last one here, Data Vault. You can see it's just consolidation, dropped all the way to this consolidation, just nice level of support here. We only value the stock. What do we value the stock at? $1.01. Just be careful. I'm looking at this more as a short-term swing trade. I don't know if the damage is quite done on this position. Whoa. All right. Done right on time. Did a lot of stocks today. Got some fish along the way. We do have the Power Hour streaming, dual streaming, both in the community room and on the YouTube with Thad. Thad will be doing that in just an hour at 2 p.m. today. So I will be in the room with him to just make sure, point him in the right direction. So give us some good questions and give us some good stocks. Check that out. Again, that's the Power Hour at 2 p.m. Now, everybody, hope I have a wonderful weekend. Have a safe and wonderful weekend out there. It's absolutely beautiful weather here in North Carolina. Hopefully it's gorgeous where you're at. If it is, get outside and have some fun. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.